Hope everybody's having a blessed day. Today we're talking about the mission statement, receipt of the mission. You know, Ecclesiastes 12:13. Let us hear the conclusion of the matter, to fear Yah and to keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. You know, in the Army, every event or operation is preceded with a mission statement. And what this is whoever is in charge, the commander or the higher level commander, will issue a statement, you know, that sums up their analysis of what the mission is. Once they have generated that statement, you know, when it comes down to a major muscle movement or exercise, you know, they bring everybody together and they give you the mission. They give you the who, what, when, where, and why. And then if you are bought in to the mission and a team player, you as an individual can receive the mission. Hey, shalom, brother. Got Solomon King in the house. You know, man, many times in, you know, my 16 years of Army service, I see people fail at the mission because they heard the mission statement. They heard it just like everybody else, but they didn't receive it. They didn't buy into it. And it's kind of like you believing, you having faith, but you don't have no works, and faith without works is dead. You know the mission, you believe the mission, but didn't receive and take heed to the instruction. That faith is dead. When we think about any other purpose that is your fleshly will as a man, oh, I was supposed to go do this and, you know, supposed to be over here doing that, and I'm supposed to do an X, Y, and Z. Man, if that mission statement is not fearing Yah and keeping his commandments, man, you under a strong delusion. You know, man, there's times in my household, you know, that my family, my wife, my 3 kids, they know what the mission statement is. They may not understand it to the complexity of why I do certain things, but the mission statement, you know, is comprised of righteousness coming from the word of Yah. You know, the law and the testimony. Man, when you think about receipt of the mission, when we look at over 83% of Americans, you know, being religious, being a part of some form of world religion and having a Bible, man, these people are sitting here, you know, potentially reading what the mission statement is. And we got a perfect example in Hamashiach, in Messiah. He received a mission that was ultimately a death mission and fulfilled it to a T. Fulfilled it to a T. You have these people in religion, Christianity, Christendom, Catholicism, Judaism, all these denominations, and you find out by lifestyle that their mission statement is something contrary than the will of Yah. Than the will of Yah. You got folks out there saying, well, Messiah didn't say do it. Or if Messiah didn't address it, then we don't want to do it. The things that Messiah did address, you don't even do. And better yet, the Messiah kept the will of the Father in heaven. That was his mission statement. Messiah didn't come down on earth, taking receipt of this death mission to give you Christianity, to give you Catholicism, to give you Nation of Islam, to give you Southern Baptist, to give you Pentecostal, to give you Apostolic. He didn't come to do that. That wasn't his mission. Man, when the Most High Yah gave us his only begotten Son, in the Spirit, Messiah was birthed and received the mission. I'm talking about from birth. As a child, starting his ministry. Think about that versus what your mission statement is. Man, for many years, I was a part of Christianity, Christendom, all these different denominations, only to find out that I only had a religious spirit, not a righteous spirit. Only to find out that I never received the mission. Sitting up getting my ears tickled Sunday after Sunday when that day ain't even been commanded. Man, in the Army, when you have somebody, that doesn't receive the mission, not only do they place their will at a higher priority, but they do that at the expense of the lives of others. We go through so many reps of different things to make sure we're proficient, training up, so when the mission come down, we're prepared and ready to execute. But that's only if you receive the mission. Some people don't receive the mission and can show receipt of the mission by action, by execution, because their own will is more important. Imagine getting the mission and they telling you, hey, this is the kind of tactics that you need to use for this mission. We don't want the enemy to see us coming. So we're going to use a L-shaped ambush. And in the back of your mind, and instead of receiving the mission, the who, what, when, where, and why, what you thinking is you ain't taking in nothing. You just thinking about what you're going to do. I understand that that's what they want to do as a collective, as the body. But I think I'm going to do this. And then the worst part is you go get people trying to follow you with that nonsense. How you think so many people get led astray in these world religions that you can't find in the whole of the book? Can't find Catholic. Can't find Christianity. Can't find a commandment telling you to keep the first day. Can't find giving money in church. Wait a minute. What you think this is? These boogers place their religious will, above the will of the Most High Yah, and they gonna lose their life because of it. And they will have gained no eternal life. Think about that. Oftentimes, when people look at Messiah fulfilling the will of the Most High Yah and that being a death mission, man, that scares people away because they're holding on to this life and they're going to waste it instead of receiving the mission, and they're never going to obtain eternal life. Never going to, obtain eternal life because the things of the world, that goes on in the world is more important. And instead of receiving the mission, just as Yah prescribed it, what do? Push back, reject it. That ain't for us. No, that's for them, and we ain't supposed to do that. All right? You keep thinking that, and you're going to lose your life for nothing. Yah's mercy is going to run out on you, and then when you face judgment, hey, be prepared to perish. and not have eternal life because you didn't want to receive the mission. Man, we are in a day and age where people are so educated carnally, but so doggone rebellious wickedly. You got the Bible, even in them 66 books, before you find the truth about the apocryphers and the truth that's in them. Even in them 66 books, you got folks out here that call themselves receiving the mission of Yah, being a servant of Yah, but the book calls them a liar because they don't fear him, they don't keep his commandments, but yet they say they know him. Man, you got to think, what would you do if Messiah was coming into your place of worship, of Sunday sun worship, world religion, all these denominations, and you've been in there doing all of this stuff, and he's like, where did I tell you to do this? I gave you the mission, but you failed to read it. You failed to apply it. That's the reason why you don't have understanding. And instead of, reading about sowing a seed, you in here sowing money, thinking that's going to work for me. But, what I wanted you to do is leave the grocery side of Walmart alone and go to the agricultural side and get you some doggone seeds and start planting for real. All of this stuff in religion that goes on in Sunday sun worship is not the mission. Man, Yah is trying to guide you. People talk about shepherd, but a shepherd was a position of herding something, of protecting something. By you following what's in the book, man, Abba Yah is trying to get you to realize, okay, what Egypt is giving you, the system that they're giving you, and you're bought into. You received their mission or have been conditioned to their mission. We got our own mission in Israel. I want you to take these words that you're seeing on this paper, and I want you to apply them and turn that knowledge into understanding. Don't mean it's gonna go flawlessly for you, but as you keep executing, you're gonna get understanding. Revelation will come. Revelation will come. In those examples that I said, instead of, going to Walmart, getting your bell peppers, getting your lettuce, getting your onions, your garlic, your cilantro. That's usually in my Walmart on the left side. Instead of spending $30, $40 on produce, go spend $10 on some seeds and apply yourself that way. Apply what you're reading in the word so these boogers can't scam you. And do that for a little while. And once you start getting the hang of that, add something else in there that's actually in the book. Actually in the book. Man, there's so many people that at Judgment Day, they're going to find out they received the mission of religion, which was to replace the word and to replace Israel with the church that's on the corner telling folk to do something opposite of what's in the book. Man, that's dangerous. You at Judgment thinking you didn't been a part of the mission, only to find out you was in a group of people who was under strong delusion and lost and didn't want to be found. Didn't want to be found. But the lost sheep of the house of Israel, they being found. And folk don't like it because of who is receiving the mission. Your family that calls themselves religious, your aunties, your uncles, your grandmama, your granddaddy, your mama, your daddy, Receive Yah's mission and watch how everything that's in that book start coming to life. You don't experience no hatred in Christianity. Why? Because they allow everything wicked in. But when you start, fulfilling, and they even get that word wrong, fulfill. They think that word fulfill means to do away with in religion. That's the wickedness they tell you. But when you start fulfilling and looking at the etymology of that word and executing and doing, man, that's when all of the persecution comes. And you find out, man, he wanted us to be a living sacrifice. Just like the example he gave Messiah, Yahshua HaMashiach, man, we on a death mission. But the difference is, we're not trying to hold on to the world. Man, we're walking with our head high, boasting in Yah on this death mission because we know we will gain eternal life. We know it. You got folks in this religion, they tote these Bibles around, can navigate through it real good, recite a couple verses from the letters and from the prophets, but it's completely lost. Completely lost. Can read it, try to teach it, only to twist and warp it. Twist and warp it. Man, another thing I want to address is, man, when you come out of Christendom or Christianity, you're going to have religious people constantly calling you, trying to bring religion into the righteousness that you now have found. I get a lot of calls with people that I know live wicked, trying to leech off of the blessings that come from obedience and righteousness, and they want you to waste your time praying for them. And you will develop a long list of people that truly don't fear Yah and aren't trying to keep the commandments. Brothers asking you to pray for them because they see what's going on in your life and how this righteousness is turning everything around for the better. But you asking me to pray for you and to restore your family, but you run into the strip club back and forth. Come on, what are we doing? But where does that type of stuff come from? It comes from religion. You got old ladies on prayer lines praying for folk that are enemies of Yah. The word says they are enemies of Yah. Man, they done made all kind of covenants, deals and arrangements with Hasatan. Their heart ain't nowhere focused on Yah. And these religious folks will try to have you wasting your time praying for them, and you will feel a heavy burden because you're like, oh man, I didn't get to everybody on this list. But when you think about it, if I do say a prayer, it's a collective one, hoping that these people choose Yah. Hoping that they choose Yah before that doggone clock run out. You got people out here right now in their 20s, men and women, some in their 30s, don't even know mercy about to run out. Because not only did they not receive a mission, but they're out here doing something to contradict and destroy the mission. And mercy's going to run out. You got folks out here that don't even know. They're thinking about the next 50 years, and they might not make it another 10 minutes. That's how real this is. You thinking about, oh man, when my kids get older and all of this, 10, 15 years down the road, and Abba Yah is about to do a major operation and stop your heart. Because not only did you not receive a mission, but you told people to go against the mission. You're out here telling people in this religion to be an enemy of Yah. Man, taking receipt of the mission is not just knowing and having knowledge of what the mission is. Because that's what these boogers do when they twist and warp these scriptures. They know what it is, but they don't have a receipt. They don't have proof. They don't have fruit because they don't execute the things that they're trying to teach people, telling everybody else, just like the scribes and Pharisees to do all this tithing and stuff, but yet they tithe in mint and cumin. Don't have receipt of the mission. You don't have receipt that you are striving to be an agricultural people. You're striving to be more like the Egyptians, the heathens. How can you receive the mission and sit up in here and bring an Easter bunny into to Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread, thinking that Abba Yah is going to buy that? Because that wasn't never the mission. You sitting here talking about he wanted us to celebrate his birthday when the only people we saw do that was doggone the Egyptians. What is your mission statement? And does your mission statement line up with what's in the book? What's your mission statement as a man or a woman? And let me break that thing on down a little bit more. You got so many people that think they have received the mission, know what it is, but they don't align themselves with the biblical order in the mission. It's the fine print. Hamashiach is the head of man. Man is the head of woman. Abba Yah is the head of Hamashiach. How many men and women out here, that call themselves knowing what the mission is or have received the mission, don't execute the mission or enforce the mission statement at their level? As a husband, you want your doggone wife to be this godly, Yah-fearing woman, but you ain't received the mission. Come on, you ain't received it. You're expecting righteousness out of her that you're not willing to lead her to. You might be beating a righteous mission statement at your level as a husband, but what are you doing righteous that's in line with the mission statement that's actually in the book? Piss poor leadership. Wives out here, women. How many of y'all claim to love the Most High Yah? You run into this world religion, talking about, oh, I love God. God is so good and all of this, but yet you don't receive the mission that your husband gave you. Come to find out, you got a whole nother mission. Everything that's in that book that you're supposed to be fulfilling, you're running contrary to it. Talking about, who am I supposed to be a helpmeet to? I took a husband so he could be a helpmeet to me, and that's how you treat your head. But you think you understand what the mission is. Gonna be rudely awakened. Women out here, men out here, if your kids do not know the mission statement and it's not enforced at every level, from husband, taking receipt of being a living sacrifice, fearing Yah, keeping the commandments, teaching it, meditating on it. The wife, the woman, the Ashaya, receiving the mission from her husband as he receives his mission from Abba Yah and executing. It's not about what you want to do. It's not about, well, I thought me and the girl. No, what did your husband say? Your covering. How many sisters do we have that go outside their covering, go around their covering, and still expect to be protected? still expect to be protected righteously, but you didn't receive the mission. Went out there and doggone did what was your will and came back expecting a reward of eternal life for it. You'll be sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. Man, it's very important when that book says, you to meditate it, to doggone teach it in your house when you wake up, when you go to sleep. Men, better receive that mission, man. You better receive that mission. Women, you better receive the mission just the way the book says. You got a lot of women that claim to receive that mission statement, believe in all this gender neutrality, that, they don't have to do it when the book clearly addresses it to them. And then if you show them the etymology, there's masculine and feminine. They don't want to get into that. Nah, I think he was talking about men and women. Men, you might want to submit to your covering. Women, you might want to submit to your covering. And teach it as is. Don't add nothing to it. If it comes from replacement theology, don't add it to it. Abba Yah gave you that word pure, concrete, as the lamp and the light. You don't need nothing else but your doggone faith, and then that faith, leading you into righteous works. That way you are not out here with this dead faith. Dead faith. People don't understand that, man. They go in these replacement theologies, places of Sunday sun worship, nothing but dead faith. And that faith, that religious faith, honestly, is only turned on for about an hour and 15 minutes. Hour and 15 minutes. So you can go partake in heathen culture. Man, brother Maurice Delva said, yes, he did give it to us pure. Man, it's a doggone shame when you look at religion, man, I'm so glad that I opted out of going to Bible college. But I have taken several courses in world religion, and it just brought so much revelation and understanding about the lies and tactics these world religions use to trap people. Man, when we look at all of the stuff from the Pope down, the Roman Catholic Church down, you start looking at these Christian pioneers, as they call themselves in Christian history, or Christian revolutionists. You learn about John Calvin and all these other people that, that's got writings and all of this stuff that people's out here following contrary to the word. These folk never received the mission. And damn sure ain't got receipt of the mission. Their whole life work is wanting to be remembered for what was their will, what was their interpretation. And come to find out, it's the furthest thing away from the truth of Abba Yah. Truth of Abba Yah. Man, I remember when I first, experienced receiving what the mission is, and knew, man, that was a death sentence. When Messiah said you're gonna be hated for my name's sake, a lot of you don't realize, man, that hatred might come from your wife. Elder Kabir tells her, man, he's always reinforcing, like, hey, man, like, hey, worship these women if you want to. You're going to get bit. You don't realize as you receive the mission and take receipt of the mission as you start executing, how many folks will come against you. Come against you. Before they hated you, they hated him. Man, today I just wanted to talk to you about, the mission statement. What is your mission statement? And taking receipt of the mission. And when I'm talking about this, let me show you this. Here is some receipt paper from Tractor Supply. When I was in Christianity, I wasn't an agricultural people. I had no desire to go to places like Tractor Supply, Atwoods, because my mind wasn't focused on doing what the book says. My mind was only focused on, okay, let me put on this facade, let me put on this image, Always been very handy, knowing what to go get in Lowe's and come back and fix it. But I never really took receipt of the mission. Had a carnally minded world concept, world view, even though I was in this world religion. And it wasn't until, I got one brother here that's about to retire out the military that, gave me the apocryphers, gave me a Bible with the apocryphers in it. And I said, oh, I'm telling you, I stayed up late at night. My wife was like, what you reading? And at that time, I couldn't even tell her because it was everything that I was reading was so far-fetched, from what Sunday Sun worship teaches. I'm staying up reading this, and I'm like, oh, man. And the more and more I'm reading and looking and trying to see this thing, it's coming to fruition in real life. I'm seeing it on a daily basis. Today, man, end up having to go get feed. First time going to get feed for the goats and trying to do that thing the way that the book says, trying to find stuff that's not genetically modified, But never once, man, when I was in Christianity, did I take receipt of the mission, because their mission statement is to be religious. They don't teach being righteous. They don't teach executing what's actually in the book. They doggone teach, okay, I'm the pastor, I'm the leader, let me give you my interpretation and you do my will. Man, the apostle said we are to obey Yah rather than man. What is your mission statement? Closer to God Ministries, kicking it gun barrel straight.